I'll never forget the sound of my son's terrified scream, slicing through the calm of our usually peaceful suburban neighborhood. I'd been in the backyard, stringing up streamers and balloons for his birthday party, when that scream froze my heart. It was the kind of sound that makes every parent drop everything and run. I sprinted around the side of the house, and when I reached the front yard, my blood went cold. There, on the pavement, my 10-year-old son, Tommy, was on the ground, sobbing. Hovering over him was a red-faced woman in her 50s, her hands locked tightly around the handlebars of his brand-new mountain bike. The bike I had given him was not even an hour earlier. "This isn't yours. Put it down right now," she shrieked, yanking the bike away as Tommy clung to it through his tears. "I know exactly which garage you stole this from." I didn't even think. I sprinted across the lawn as Tommy stumbled backward, her hand clearly having made contact with his shoulder. The push was unmistakable. A small crowd had already started to gather, neighbors stepping out of their homes, phones in hand. Someone muttered they'd already called 911. That woman, Barbara Wilson, the president of our homeowners association, had just laid hands on my child. She didn't know it was his birthday. She didn't care. And she had no idea that this bike meant the world to him. Tommy had begged for that bright red mountain bike for months. He'd cut out pictures from magazines, emailed me links, even made a PowerPoint presentation explaining why this was the most responsible, life-changing gift a kid could get. So when his 10th birthday came around, I knew exactly what would make it perfect. I'd hidden the bike at my sister's place for weeks. The look on Tommy's face when he opened a tiny box with just a picture of the bike inside, it was pure joy. Worth every extra hour I'd worked to afford it. We'd brought the bike out front while setting up the backyard. Tommy was too excited to wait, so I told him he could ride it up and down our street where I could still see him. That's when Barbara must have spotted him and, in true Barbara fashion, jumped to the worst possible conclusion. "Ma'am, take your hands off my son and his bike," I said, forcing my voice to stay calm even as fury burned in my chest. By now, several neighbors had gathered, a few recording the scene. Barbara spun around, her expression twisted with self-righteous anger. "Your son? This bike?" "I don't think so. The Millers just reported a bike stolen from their garage, and it looks exactly like this one. I was on my way to check on the Thompsons' unapproved garden gnomes when I caught this little thief red-handed." Tommy looked up at me from the ground, tears streaking his cheeks. "Dad, tell her. Tell her you gave it to me for my birthday today." Before I could speak, Barbara let out a condescending laugh. "Oh, how convenient. A birthday present. So you just happened to give him a $500 bike today. All the kids around here know not to take what isn't theirs. This HOA has rules and I enforce them." I stepped between them and helped Tommy back to his feet. "Barbara, this is ridiculous. It's his birthday. There are decorations in our backyard, wrapping paper in the trash, and I have the receipt for this bike in my wallet." "You're making a huge mistake," she scoffed, jabbing a finger at me. "So you're teaching your son to lie, too. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I always knew there was something off about your family moving in here. The board should have run stricter background checks." The situation was spiraling fast. More neighbors filled the sidewalk, whispering. I recognized some of them. People who had complained before about Barbara's petty tyranny over mailbox paint colors and garbage cans left out a few minutes too long. Tommy squeezed my hand, trembling as Barbara launched into another tirade. "I'm confiscating this bike until the rightful owner can be identified," she declared, trying to wheel it away. When Tommy reached for it, crying, "No, it's mine," she shoved him hard enough that he fell backward again. That was it. I snapped. "Don't you dare touch my son!" I barked, stepping forward, shielding him. "What is wrong with you? He's a child." Barbara's face flushed even redder. "He shouldn't be resisting an HOA official. I'm doing my duty. This is theft, plain and simple." Across the street, Mrs. Chen stepped forward, phone raised high. "I've been recording this whole thing, Barbara. You just pushed a child. That's assault." Barbara's head whipped toward her, eyes wide. For a moment, she was caught off guard, but she recovered fast. "I did no such thing," she snapped. "He fell because he was trying to run away with stolen property. I'm the victim here," Barbara snapped, her voice sharp and indignant. That was the exact moment we all heard the sound of police sirens cutting through the chatter of the crowd. Barbara's expression morphed from furious to smug, like she thought the cavalry had arrived to back her up. "Finally," she declared, her chin lifted high. "Now we'll get this sorted out. You'll see what happens when people break the rules in my neighborhood." A patrol car rolled up to the curb, its lights still flashing. Two uniformed officers stepped out, scanning the scene. A crying child, a furious woman clutching a bike, and a semicircle of neighbors filming with their phones. My pulse steadied a little when I recognized one of the officers, Officer Martinez, someone I'd seen at local community events. "What's going on here?" Martinez asked, his voice calm but firm as he approached. Barbara jumped in before anyone else could speak. "Officer, I caught this boy stealing a bicycle from another residence. When I confronted him, his father came out and threatened me. I was simply performing my duties as HOA president to keep our neighborhood safe." I inhaled slowly, forcing myself to keep my cool. "Officer Martinez," I said evenly, "today is my son's 10th birthday. That bike is his birthday present from me. I have the receipt in my wallet, and at least 20 witnesses saw me give it to him this morning. This woman accosted my son without evidence, accused him of theft, and physically pushed him to the ground when he tried to explain." Martinez turned to Barbara. "Ma'am, did you physically touch the child?" "Absolutely not," she shot back. "He fell while trying to keep hold of stolen property." Before I could respond, Mrs. Chen stepped forward again, steady and fearless. "Officer, I recorded the entire thing," she said, handing over her phone. "You can see exactly what happened, including when she pushed the boy." Martinez's frown deepened as he watched the footage. "And I have the gift receipt," I added, pulling the folded slip of paper from my wallet. "The date was 3 weeks ago, the day I bought the bike. I've been planning this for a month." Another neighbor raised their voice from the crowd. "I saw them bring the bike home this morning. The kid was so excited he was jumping up and down in the driveway." Martinez handed Mrs. Chen's phone back, then turned to his partner. They exchanged a brief, quiet conversation before both officers faced Barbara. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step away from the bicycle," Martinez said, his tone now clipped and authoritative. Barbara blinked rapidly, her bravado slipping. But I'm the HOA president. This is my responsibility to—" "Ma'am," Martinez interrupted, his patience gone. "Based on the evidence, video footage, multiple witness statements, and the owner's receipt, you physically assaulted a minor and attempted to take property under false pretenses." Barbara's jaw fell open. "That's absurd. I was protecting our community." The Millers reported, "We've had no reports of stolen bicycles in this area," the second officer cut in sharply. "And even if we had, that wouldn't give you the authority to confront a child or seize property without proper verification." While the officers spoke with her, I knelt beside Tommy. His cheeks were still streaked with tears, his hands clutching the handlebars like they were a lifeline. "Are you okay, buddy?" I asked softly. He sniffled and nodded. "Is she going to take my bike, Dad?" I shook my head, wrapping an arm around him. "No, son. That's your bike. No one is taking it from you." The situation shifted in an instant. "Barbara Wilson," Martinez announced. "Place your hands behind your back." Her head jerked toward him. "What?" "You're under arrest for assault on a minor and attempted theft. You have the right to remain silent." A collective gasp rippled through the neighborhood as Martinez read her rights. Barbara's face drained of color. "This is outrageous. Do you know who I am?" "I'll have your badge. I'll sue this entire neighborhood," she screeched as the officers gently but firmly escorted her toward the squad car. Tommy stared, wide-eyed. "Dad, is she really getting arrested because of me?" He squeezed his shoulder. "No, buddy. She's getting arrested because of what she did. No one, no matter who they are, has the right to hurt you or take what's yours. Not even an HOA president." 3 months later, the final chapter of Barbara Wilson's self-inflicted downfall played out quietly in court. She pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault and attempted theft. The judge handed down 6 months of probation, a $5,000 fine, mandatory anger management classes, and a restraining order requiring her to stay at least 100 feet away from our family at all times. The HOA board held an emergency session the week after her arrest. The vote to remove her was unanimous. The last time I saw her, Barbara was loading boxes into a moving truck in front of her house. She paused for just a second when our eyes met across the street. Her face was a swirl of humiliation, fury, and something like defeat. She didn't say a word, just turned and disappeared inside, slamming the door behind her, and for the first time in years, our street felt quiet again.